people. Train them if you don't like them.
Ben. That
Excuse me.
Welcome. This is Pantheon Plus U, number 66. I'm here with my friends Therek and the Nathan Napalm. How's everybody doing?
Really, really good, man. Excited.
Doing great.
Pumped up.
That was a heck of a stream. That was very exciting. I personally love that last video. That's like the type of stuff that just gets me going.
What a way to end the stream. Holy cow. Like,
Yeah.
way to like structure that thing right to the climax of the whole thing. That was amazing.
I felt
And the nostalgia tickle, right?
Yeah.
dude.
Everybody's having memories, either good or bad, probably mostly good, but falling from their heights to their death. But we all want to do it again, no matter how much it sucked at the time. We still want to do it again, right?
Do it at a low level, so the XP penalty is less severe. So make a halfling fall off a few times, have your fun.
Yeah. Get your safe fall leveled up a little bit.
I feel like
There you go.
I feel like we should make a race class poll right now and see how many people switch to halfling.
It would be pretty 100%, pretty close to 100%.
Yeah.
So
I saw a
crazy.
lot of people actually in chat being like, "Ooh, kind of have to roll a halfling now. Wasn't planning on it,
Yeah. I mean, you have to sacrifice beauty, I guess, for a little to have a nice home environment. But if you're an elf,
Wow,
you
that
have
was
to do
a
what you gotta
burn
do.
on the halflings. Jeez. They're beautiful.
Youth is not equal beauty. I'm here to represent the older.
I guess I need to be on your side. Yeah.
Therek's very distinguished.
Distinguished, not a gentleman, but I am distinguished. Right.
Well, there was a lot of very cool stuff tonight. I think I'm going to go a little different, though. I think that my favorite part of the whole thing was the hiring of people. They have 4 new slots open. I didn't actually write down what the exact jobs were, but they were all like art and development positions. And so like when you're in the middle for developing an MMO and you're in the middle of hiring people and you're in the middle of hiring artists, like that is just such a good sign. And just like that means your game is healthy. It's in the middle of like moving forward. Like they're still getting funding. Otherwise they wouldn't be able to hire these people. So that's just was so exciting for me.
Yeah, I was also glad to hear, because I think I would have felt like I wasn't sure how I felt about it until I heard that they've received tons of applications and they're going through them. Because I've heard that it's sort of a competitive market for hiring talent right now in terms of game development space. So to hear that they've got these, they've got applications in, they're going through them, HR is doing their bit to get these things processed. That was reassuring to me, because I was a little bit like, until I heard that, I wasn't sure, because these have been posted for a little while now.
That's right. And it was, like Draq said, it was things like environmental art, animation, and 3D modeling, right? So it was like all the things, this world building, right? This is like, we need people to get this built faster. That's what that means. So that's a really, really good sign. Yeah,
one of them being the like the character rigger as well, like the animation rigger, because I know that they've talked about that quite a bit, in the last few months with some of the models that we've seen, but not in action yet. So they want to get that done. So yeah, good point.
Very cool. Dude, thanks everybody for all the gift subs. You guys are going crazy.
Chat's on fire here.
Chat is excited.
Yeah.
So
good show up. So that means people were hyped. Like they wanted to come see. They want to come talk, so get that green room.
So I am going to get to Therek's and Nathan's favorite part, but before we start, make sure you hit the green room, the Pantheon Plus Discord. If Desrin or Therek, you want to hit the Discord link in the chat.
Yep.
Everybody, so this is a community show, right? So everybody that is in the Twitch channel can join the Discord. You can get in here. We want to hear your opinion on what you thought of the dev stream, and we're not going to leave until we do everybody. So get in there, have your say. It can be a little intimidating, but it's a lot of fun, and I promise we don't bite. So make sure we want you on the show. It's super fun for us to get to know everybody in the community and honestly to know what everybody thought. And Actually, VR had a specific, or Minus specifically he wanted to know if everybody liked the little audio clips of people. He wanted to know if people like that as part of the stream. So let's, we know that the devs are hanging out in chat, monitoring us at least. And so make sure when you join, you let them know about that if you like the little audio clips. Yeah. So Therek, what did you think of the dev stream? Or what was your favorite part?
Well, I can tell you my least favorite part was the snow effects, because I'm living in a place where there is tons of snow right now and I don't need more snow. But so yeah, no, I was actually kind of cool that they're working on snow effects, because I like snow in game. I think that's a fun. I've always just enjoyed that for some reason. So that was exciting, but more. I mean, realistically, man, it's hard to choose. The weapon design was pretty cool. You know, some of those weapons were pretty sweet looking. The the metal on the halberds and the sort of the long pole arm type weapons looked pretty great. We've seen some weapons, you know, recently in past streams that were sort of like a mini example of this, some daggers and stuff. And this was just expanded on that, so that was pretty cool. I mean, it's hard to say not the Daydream Ascent. I mean, that was amazing, right? Like that was incredible. There's so much to dig into there, and there's lore, and there's stuff they talked about that we'll get into. I don't want to spoil everything, but yeah. I mean, that's my favorite part for sure. That's my favorite part. So, I don't know. What about you, Nathan? What do you think? What was your favorite?
Well, besides Minus calling it foliage,
yeah,
that one kind of made my night. But yeah, dude, totally. The Ascent, when they went up to the top and they started showing like that first little entry room, and that dragon skull was on the back, and just kind of the overall look of it. And then people in chat were saying things like, "Oh my gosh, dragon cultists and all this." It's just like, oh my gosh, that probably is somewhere in the ballpark of where this is leading, right? And you know, it for a lot of us, it's been following Pantheon for a long time. There was like such a long period of time where the only thing we really got to see was, you know, I can't think of the name of it now. The dungeon that they always went to,
like Halnir, Amberfate.
Yeah, Halnir or one of those. That's not the one I'm thinking of, but yeah, Halnir's another good example. And it's just really cool that now, with all the tools they built over this time, now we're starting to see like new areas, like kind of quickly, considering the size of the team, right? You know, so I thought that was super cool. I didn't expect to see a new area tonight, you know. So very awesome.
Yeah.
Right. We did have back-to-back pretty impressive streams. Like sometimes when they do a big stream and a big reveal, like the next one's a little like less intense maybe. But this one had tons of stuff in it. So like,
yeah.
So it was like back-to-back pretty good streams.
Impressive. It's hard to do. It's hard to follow up from last month.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, the thing is, I mean, the Daydream Ascent, they mentioned it before. Like we've never seen it before. They did mention the name in the newsletter from February, I think it was, and that was they talked about like building it out and building the core, you know, assets and the pieces of it. And this is where we're at. Like, you know, not even 2 months later. Like, you know, we're talking like five weeks later, 6 weeks later, sort of thing. So
yeah,
they're moving. You know, right. They're moving. So
we also have a new term very soon, not just soon, but very soon.
I'm confused.
Hey, and I want to say one more thing in chat. Ben Dean, people that's been around long enough, they know what kind of sign this is. Ben Dean specifically said, "Pay attention to the website, the Discord, blah blah blah, whatever all the things were for your next testing phase."
Yes, I actually screen clipped that when I saw that in chat.
Yeah,
I Windows screen clipped it because I was like, "Yep, that's important."
That gives most of us a sort of a time frame, a little bit. Now, I do think it depends a lot on the networking, right? You guys agree? Like,
no, for sure.
They're probably not going to test until they get that working to a point where they want to test it. So you know, I think there's a lot of like uncontrollables in between, but still, that's a good sign. They're feeling optimistic to even say that.
Yeah. And Kyle sounded optimistic when talking about the networking aspect. You know, he was saying, you know, they're getting it to production level, I think was the quote he used. And, you know, Good to hear. Good sign. Good. That's what you want to hear. So.
And
That's
they tend to hold back as much as they can. Like they don't like they don't like to overpromise. So
Yeah.
That's right.
all right.
Unlike a lot of other people,
Some
they have done a really good job through the whole development of under promising, over delivering. Like some people.
Unlike some people.
We will not mention any names.
No, I don't even know who I'm talking about. You guys can.
All right. Well, let's get into some community. Therek, should we drag somebody in here? How's the green room looking?
It's looking good. We've got a lot of people in there, actually. I think we've got seven people waiting. And I did post the link in the chat. So if you want to jump in the green room, just click on the link, join our Discord. There's a green room chat room to just pop in, and then I'll notify you when I'm going to pull you in, and you just unmute yourself. And then as soon as I see you're unmuted, I will get you on the show. So let's start out with, who are we going to start out? Let's go with Redbeard Flynn, just because I looked at his name first.
Nice.
So Redbeard.
He's still going by that name.
He hasn't
exposed him.
Yeah, no, he hasn't adopted your suggestion of Brownbeard Flynn.
There has been a documentary released on, I think it was CNN last night about this. So we'll have to clear the air.
I just thought he would just go ahead and accept it, Oh well, let's get him in here.
Let's see what he says. So Redbeard, you're coming in. Oh, I missed. Where is he? There he is, Redbeard. Hey man, how's it going?
The slander immediately. Like, how dare?
That's what this show is. This is we just slander people for an hour and a half. Like, that's basically all we do. So,
but listen, I get it. I took a poll. I was interested. Like, why do you do that? So I took a poll, and they did vote for Redbeard is better than Brown. So I get it. You're doing the right thing. Okay,
that's fair. That's totally fair. Yes, this is actually my first time in the green room, and
I wasn't sure if you'd called in before. That's awesome, man.
No, I haven't. I've watched plenty of Plus You, but I've never actually been on, so I'm honored.
Wow. Slander is the rite of passage. That's what you have to go through to get on. So.
This is what we got to do to get Redbeard on.
Only your first time. You're good now.
So, what did you think of the stream, man? What was anything catch your eye? Anything that stood out to you?
I mean, the thing that stood out to me the most is just seeing a new zone, because I think it's been a while since we really got to experience something new like that. And I think it shows like something completely new, because we've been back to so many places. And I know it's one of those things where you don't want to give away too much. You don't want to ruin the exploration side of it. Right. But it's still nice to get that whole new experience and to see it all together, with 400 people was kind of amazing.
Yeah. The experience of witnessing it first time as a group you're right. That's exactly right. And that's the spirit of MMOs, right? That's what makes MMOs so captivating, is because you're like, you get it all, the same people all reacting at the same moment to the same thing. Like we hear about new places all the time, not all the time, but occasionally we hear about places, but we don't see them, and then like Nathan said, sometimes we just go back to the same place to see new things, right? Not the place, but the thing. And so this was kind of a fairly uncommon event.
Yeah. Do you guys ever Redbeard, do you ever think about, like, this was revealed to us tonight, right? The Daydream Ascent, for example. One day we'll be exploring it and we'll be talking about that, right? We'll be like, hey, do you remember when we first seen this, how excited we were? And we thought this meant that. And, like, we're in magical times now, guys. I know we want Pantheon to be out, but you gotta absorb this moment. It's only pre-launch is only for a limited time, right? So absorb it. You ever think about stuff like that, Redbeard?
I do. Like, I mean, I was thinking of all the different cliffs and edges I was going to fall off through the whole thing. But I mean, it's really one of those things that I think is going to be a kind of a different experience, seeing it now and then going in later, and then just having, it's not necessarily going to be like a familiarity, but kind of, you know what I mean? Like that feeling of, I've seen this because I was there when it was revealed. I was there. I got to experience that moment. And then it's going to be a different kind of excitement and joy when you're there in person, so to speak.
Yeah. Like it's almost like there's some place you wanted to go, but you couldn't go there, it was too far away or whatever, and then one day you do get to go there and you're like, wow, I'm really here now. It's the same kind of feeling in the MMO, especially when you're here for this early part.
Nathan, I have the same take, but I have a little bit different spin on it. I'm looking forward to like using that against arguments with people. So I'd be like, you don't even know what you're talking about. I remember when this was in like the gray box. Like, so obviously I'm right.
Jeez, usually it's like I was here for beta. We're going to be back to like, I was here in the gray box times, okay?
It's true. It's going to win me every argument.
Draq is going to use that in bartering. Like, no, I saw when this was concept art, so I know it's not worth that much.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's
that's
true.
right. That's so true. That's exactly it.
They only showed this item on the screen when they showed it off for like 3 seconds, bro. And they moved on.
That's funny. That's a great point, though, man. And you know what? It's like it's not even the stuff, but it's like we'll be there together in the game, right? Like it'll be us and everybody and community members that we've interacted with and we've watched these together and be like, we were there when we saw that. We were all together at that time, and now we're all together here. So, you know, it's good stuff. Anything else that stood out to you?
The one thing I want to say before I go is just I think it sometimes gets underrated. The music that we hear with Pantheon is just it's top notch. And I know we haven't had a lot of new music lately, and some of this has been reused, but every time I hear it, I get chills with the music. It's just fantastic. And that's, I think, an underrated part of what's going to make an MMO immersive is the music. So that's been there for years, and it's good to hear.
Yeah. So go ahead there. Sorry.
I was just going to ask you guys if the music during the Sohira shot, was that new to you guys? I've never heard that music before. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, I didn't recognize it.
I didn't either.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it felt new.
Yeah.
You know what? It had to be new. We've definitely heard all the music by now, right?
Yeah.
That had to be new. But I wanted to ask you this because we were talking about this when we were prepping for the stream. Redbeard, do you know that classic song we hear at the beginning of every stream? Do you think that will be the music that will play at launch when it's like saying Visionary Realms and it's loading up the Pantheon logo? What do you think?
I'm gonna go with I feel like it has to be.
Feels right. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels right.
Ronik said that it was in the Bring Your Friends trailer.
Oh wow, that was a long time ago.
That was a long time
that
ago.
trailer though.
2006.
That was such a good trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah. The guy gets killed at the end. It's like bring friends.
Yeah.
Dude.
Definitely a throwback.
That's a good song then. Jeez.
Yeah. Right on. Well, hey, Redbeard, is that anything else? Anything else you got for us, or is that it?
That's all I got. That's all I got for y'all.
Well, thank you, man, for coming on and first timing and taking our abuse. And hopefully we haven't scared you off. You'll come back again and
no, I have to come back and defend my beard. So
yeah, hey, let's get together offline so you can tell me what filter you use because I'd like to know something about this.
I got you, Nathan.
All right, I
appreciate
it.
Appreciate
Thanks, y'all.
Nathan,
all right, man. Talk to you later.
Nathan, you can offend a man in many ways, and he won't come to violence against you. But if you insult a man's beard, like them's throwdown words. Right there.
Yeah.
Me and Redbeard, we bonded. You know, we made a short together, and we bonded. We're tight now.
That's awesome.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Well, we got to get through this green room. Let's see. Who do we want to do next? Let's do Erikai, aka Flea. We haven't talked to Erikai in a long time. So, Erikai, if you want to unmute yourself, I'll pull you in. Erikai, aka Flea. Maybe he's AFK. Okay, well, we'll go somebody else. We'll come back to Erikai.
Oh man, that's my favorite guy from Reddit.
Yeah, no, he's been around forever.
Yeah.
How about Stands and Fire? We know Stands and Fire is got the mic working.
This should be spicy.
Stands, if you want to unmute yourself, I'll drag you in here. There we go. Here comes Stands and Fire. Hey, Stands, how's it going?
Not so bad. How about you guys?
Doing
bad. I feel like we just talked the other night.
Really, guys?
Yeah. So, what'd you think?
So I've kind of been taking a break from the last several of these because there's been a lot of okay, we're getting concept art, we're getting a lot of kind of sprinkles of stuff that it's just tease, and it's been a lot of the early part of this year. There were a lot of things that were sizzle without the steak, and I know it's because they were head down doing a lot of work, so they were just delivering a lot of things that weren't all that engaging for me. The last couple of these have been absolutely lights out.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Finally getting to see some stuff, right? Like it's not just like plans and hopes and things that they, have in mind. Now we're seeing the product of that.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about what they've been doing. We've been heads down doing this. We've been doing that. And now we're starting to get, okay, cool. Here's some payoff. And it's so good to see.
Yeah, it's satisfying. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
The
every time they do this, I get to like punch a YouTube comment or a Facebook comment about the person that says that Pantheon's never coming out, and to punch it, right? Like, just take it down. Like,
look, forward progress here. Yeah.
Like, if you don't believe this game is coming out at this point, like I don't know what else you need, right? Like, it's there. We're looking at it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it just reinforces the people who have been paying attention and people who are waiting to start paying attention, so you see things like this and you're like, okay, I can now sort of start spending my attention, on some of this. I can follow it a little more closely. I can see what's going on because you can see, oh, I was going to play a halfling anyway. Now I can see where I'm going to live. I can see what my home starting area is going to look like. So I can start visualizing my gaming experience. Right. So,
yeah. So, Therek, you just gave me a perfect segue, by the way there. Thank you for the softball into one of the things that I found the most exciting about this. And Draq, you touched on it as well. But two of the positions that they're actively hiring for and looking to onboard and working on their applicants, 3D character artist and a rigger. Those are the kinds of things that means we're going to be seeing upcoming actual progress of what we're going to be looking at, seeing, and working with in the game.
That's right.
There's been all of that, all that talk, no matter how many environments we see, no matter how many concept arts, we just keep seeing in all of these streams the same stock models that they can't do skinning on. We can't see a whole lot of gear because they don't have a rigger, because they wanted to wait for the game to be in a better position and more built before they started bringing those positions on. Well, guess what? They just said they're hiring those, which means
the game's in that position.
Which means the game is ready for it.
That's right. Yeah, that's a really, really well way to put it. Because it's true. Like, we've heard that, like, people complain like, oh, it looks great, but the animations are really stiff. And they're like, hey, we're not really worried about animations till much later in development when we get to a better spot. And now they're hiring for that rigor for the animation. So,
yeah, seeing that makes me think that they're getting to a much closer point where they can start looking at that type of content and actually hooking things up. And that's a good feeling.
Right. It really is.
And how many other MMOs, like these Kickstarter MMOs and all these other indie development projects have we watched where they just go along and it's just like, okay, but like the team's not expanding. It's just the same 4 guys pumping out the same things, and it's just like, if it's an MMO, it has to grow, right? There has to be a bunch of people involved in it, right? Because otherwise it's never going to launch. And so the continued hiring is such a good sign.
And it has to be done. It has to be done intelligently. You can't start with a massive team when you only need 8 people to do your pre-prod work.
Yeah. And one thing, I'm sorry, I got to touch on this real quick. Chat, someone said they wonder, and I hear this a lot, so we got to touch on it. And that's that they wonder what % of Brad's vision is still part of the game and how much have they changed. so far everything announced is exactly what was in his design documents, right? Literally nothing has changed. There's been things announced, but you can go back and see streams or interviews where Brad said, I want this to be in the game. There was points where he's like, I don't know if we can do that, but it would be nice, and like climbing, etc., lots of things. But nothing, and I've watched that so closely. That's like my number one thing that I try to look out for is, has the vision shifted at all? Because it could. It's been 8 years, right? I'm not saying I would throw up my hands and throw a fit. I'm just saying I watch it closely because I do want to enter this world and say, this is Brad McQuaid's final vision, right? This is his final game. So I do watch it just for the sentimental value.
Right. And
everybody agree with that? Or?
And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but all the pillars are still the same from when Brad worked them out with Jabba at the very beginning, right? All those pillars have not changed since the very beginning. Like, and some of the stuff, like, dude, my favorite thing in the whole world is Progeny. I am a huge Progeny nerd, and the VR probably doesn't even want me bringing it up, but
you're going to keep taking that wound.
Even Brad said, this is maybe a later or a hard to do thing. But okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Brad said that was a maybe, right? So those types of things, those may or may not make it in. But like the core tenets of the game have remained from what they worked out at the very beginning, and they've been true to those all the way along.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. So really good points there, Stans. And the question I think that maybe we'll end with here is like hearing from each of the department heads. You know, we're talking about hiring and growing and adding the team. You know, hearing from each of the department heads, at least like a clip, just a thing. You know, 1 line, 2 lines, whatever. You know, I think that would give people more confidence that things are happening, like what's going on all over the team, and that the project's moving forward. And I think that you would agree with me, right?
Absolutely. I really like that approach of just, hey, let's check in with departments so that we get a progress update showing that there is cohesive progress going forward. Not just, well, there's some concept art over here, there's some modeling over here, there's some landscape design over there. It's teams talking with each other and working in concert and talking about what they've gotten for the other teams. That was really encouraging.
Yeah. What was Minus's quote about the team? Something team. It's like he had some
one team nice dream.
One team, one dream.
Yeah. Same team, something like that. Yeah.
It's a very, very Minus thing to say. That made me laugh. That's awesome. Right on, Stans. Anything else before we hop off?
2 quick things that really stood out that have me excited. In the concept art they were showing, I love seeing more of those 2-handed weapons because it makes me think that Dire Lord might have a good DPS flex. And I'm looking forward to that because their damage dealing classes don't really seem to be oriented around 2-handed weapons. So that's kind of got to be either Dire Lords or Warriors, right?
Well, except for bows.
No one cares about
bows. Don't count as 2-handed weapons.
Come on. All right, I'm out.
And cleric. Just going to end with and cleric.
Drop the mic. I'm out. That's awesome. All right. Well, Stans, we'll talk to you soon. And thanks for joining us tonight, man.
Thanks, y'all.
Yeah. All right. Great stuff from Stans. Erikai is back, I'm informed. So Erikai, we're gonna bring you in now. So bring in Erikai. Hey, Erikai, how are you? We haven't talked to you in forever, man.
Hey, good to be here. Yeah, I know. Life has been pretty crazy.
Yeah, I miss our symbiosis of our Therekai, our like GoBot creation of enormous power. So I feel like I've been missing my better half.
Yeah, I hope the community at large hasn't forgot about Therekai because it hasn't gone away yet.
I haven't let them forget about it. No, I've been keeping them up. Yeah. What's been going on? What did you think of the stream?
Well, this is the first stream I've been able to tune into live for a while now. They do it right in the smack dab in the middle of like dinner time and bedtime for me, and as a father of 3, that makes it really hard for me. But I was able to tune in this week or this month, I guess I should say, and Man, it was
Awesome.
a good one. It was a good one to tune into.
Yeah. I have to say, if you were gonna miss one, it shouldn't have been this one. So that's great, man. Anything in particular about the stream you liked, or anything that caught your eye?
Yeah, one of the things that caught my attention, which is a little bit strange, is when they were talking about the weapons, they mentioned, and they were joking about Joppa doing weapon poses, and they talked about idle animations. And I've been playing EverQuest for so long that this is a thing I haven't really thought about. Idle animations depending on weapon type, right? Because in EverQuest, when you are idle and you're holding any kind of weapon, it's the same. All the idle animations look the same. And I got thinking about that, like, oh wow, I guess you would probably stand differently if you were holding two swords, or if you were holding a spear, or if you were, you know, holding some other kind of weapon. So I thought, man, that's a thing that like I don't really think about when I'm considering, well, why is Pantheon taking so long to develop, right? Like I have that in the
Yeah.
back of my mind all the time, like most of the rest of the community does. And then they talk about something like that, and I'm like, yeah, like there really is a lot that goes into it, a lot to think about, a lot of things to plan out, a lot of things to animate and design. And
Yeah.
it kind of made me realize that like I think I can be a little bit more patient for some of this stuff.
Yeah, no, I've had that exact same thought process, because you just don't know unless you're paying attention closely, or you're in the act of creation, doing this. You just don't realize how many small details. Looking at, I think in chat when they were showing the weapons, I think somebody in chat was noticing the detailing on the wood and like the handle. It was so like, and even the video, that we're seeing on screen right now, like these little details, they go so far. And I've heard it argued that when you're running around, you're not going to notice these things. Like, so they're kind of a waste of time. And I've always argued against that, saying like, no, because when you're just standing there talking to people and you're looking at your character and you're trying on new armor and you're trying on a new weapon, those little details, they make it worthwhile. They make you feel like, okay, I actually spent some time getting a decent look to my character, or I'm in Sohirith, and I feel like I'm in Sohirith. So it just adds to that feeling. But and it's talking EverQuest. I mean, Draq. As soon as I hear EverQuest, I think your ears probably perk up
Oh
right
yeah,
away.
man.
What did you think about what Erica is saying about the idle animations?
Yeah, I mean, no, I think I love it. Like you say, in EverQuest, there was, it's 20 plus years old, man. So that really wasn't so much of a thing back in the day. And I'm more of a classic EverQuest guy, so I don't play live. So the live may have some animations, but like you say, the old ones didn't. So that's the part of having a MMO released in today's age, that we're gonna get to reap the benefits of that, right? The graphics and those types of little details can be added in. But I was just looking at the trees screen there. And when you talk about details and stuff, when you talk about EverQuest, there's no guardrails on the Tree City. I mean, and I know people were talking about falling off and stuff and jumping off, and that's good. But like, when's the last time you were in an MMO town and you could actually jump off and die? When's the last? I can't even remember. It's EverQuest for me. That's the last time you could actually even make that happen. Like, even if you were trying to die, you couldn't die because they wouldn't let you go over the edge. But that city, I guarantee you're going to be able to go over the edge and die.
Yeah, I actually feel so comfortable that I can't die, that I will purposefully jump to what would kill me because I know it won't let me do it. Like, so yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to need to. Some people are going to need to adjust their thinking when it comes to their safety, I think, in this world. So, oh
That's
boy,
good. I don't even want a sanctuary where I'm not at least a little bit in danger. That's why
yeah,
I like Sorhireth looking at it.
That's good. I like that quote. I don't want a sanctuary where there's not even a little bit of danger. That's good.
exactly. Anything else you liked about it, or anything you didn't like, or any concerns or critique, Erica?
Just it was just overall really good. Like the small little interviews with the various teams. I think it's cool to hear from the teams that we don't really see featured very often. So, you know, the HR and the QA testers and stuff. It's cool to just hear their perspective and understand that, you know, work is going on their side too. It's easy for us to be really negative when kind of all we're shown and all that we see is just visual stuff, right? And so hearing about the work that's going on in those departments too is and it's kind of a reminder of what I was saying earlier. Like there's just so much that goes into it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll even flip it around and say it's nice that Joppa gets a little break because we all love hearing from Joppa. I mean, if we could, we'd say Joppa every time, right? Because it's just so much information and so well spoken. But I'm glad to see he gets a stream off or a month off, and it was just as good hearing, not, you know, in a different way, but from the other heads of the other departments. You know, we don't always need to have Joppa, you know, as much as we love hearing from him. It's not required every time.
Yeah, and we had Minus dressed like Joppa, so
Yeah.
so you know, close enough.
I heard that Therek was going to intro the rewind this Sunday as Minus playing Joppa. That's what I heard.
Wow, that's complicated.
Man, I got to start working on that right now because I don't know if I can do that, Draq.
Well, I'll tell you where to start. You can talk about the foliage.
Oh man, I miss Minus. Those mispronounced. I have a clip from when we played in Devair where he mispronounces like 5 words in the course of a 30-second span, and everybody, Nathan, you were laughing, Joppa was laughing. You know, I think I was like, please don't tell JN any of this because it was all like, you know, lore names and creature names.
Mujin Boo, and
yeah, the Mahjong. Oh my god.
He was getting like Dragon Ball Z references in there.
But yeah, so the tradition lives on. I mean, we heard about foliage. We heard a couple other things in there that we'll have to. Minus is in chat. He says, "Yeah, how to do with the lore? You did great, man. You did great.
Good.
It was challenging. I will say this: that hearing what you read, I couldn't do that in. It would take me many takes, and that was. I feel like they really gave you a difficult piece to work with there, and you pulled it out. So I'm impressed. I am impressed.
Yeah, it was very intense. I remember listening, or as I was listening to it, there was like 4 R words in a row, and I was like, how does he not get tripped up over that? Like, there's no way I'd make it through that.
Yeah, Ronik says, say beguile. Yeah, beguile was another one in there that I think got passed through the pronunciation filter a little incorrectly. So we'll forgive you. We'll forgive you.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we enjoy it. We don't want you to fix it.
That's right. Exactly.
No way.
Exactly.
It's all part of
Everybody needs their signature, you know?
It's all part of the
That's
charm.
what you get. That's what you get with Minus, and we love it.
That's right. 100%. Right on, man. So, Erica, anything else before we say goodbye?
No, just thanks for having me, and Summoner win.
Summoner
Nice.
win. We know. We'll see.
Incasters for the win.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe we should combine him with Draq since we're incasters. You know, maybe Therek can go away and we'll do Draq or something.
Oh, Draq, I like it. Nice.
Yeah,
all right,
Summoners are dependent on that network, so get that network in, and Summoners should be coming shortly after.
Very soon.
I'm watching that pretty closely.
That's right. Right on, Erica. Don't be a stranger. We'll talk to you later, man.
Later, man.
Take care, guys.
Yeah. All right, working our way through the green room. How about Reese and Revelry? How about
yes, from across the pond?
From across the pond, staying up late from what I hear. I see in chat.
Yes, I think he was like throwing caution into the wind. Let's do this thing. We got to get in. I know. So exciting.
Get that coffee in there. So Reese, if you want to unmute yourself, I'll pull you in here as soon as there we go. Okay, coming in, Reese and Revelry. Reese and Revelry. Hey man, how are you?
I'm good, guys. How are you guys doing?
Doing great.
Doing really well.
Doing
You sound really good for being up late.
Well, that's the pros of drinking pretty strong coffee at 3:00 in the morning.
Love it.
Yeah, I would have to do the same. I don't think I would make it otherwise. So what's on your mind? How'd you like the stream?
Well, I stuck my Pantheon Enchanter shirt on earlier for good luck, and it turned out pretty well. So that's how I feel about it.
I got the double shirt on too. I got my Pantheon hoodie and my Ranger shirt underneath it. So I feel like it's my good luck charm.
Can you wear that shirt every stream? Is that possible?
Oh, only if we get the statement that Enchanter is the best class out.
Ooh, I don't know if we're getting that one.
Hey, that's not. Hey, wait a minute though. That's not too hard to say because you kind of need one. You kind of gotta have one, right? Or a bard.
Yeah, well,
you gotta have one.
That's
don't
dangerous.
say the B word.
That's dangerous bringing up that word.
I'm causing drama from across the pond, guys.
Yeah, you are absolutely. So you're enchanting nature. Yeah, no, I agree. But what about the stream? Anything else that you that stuck out to you?
Particularly the reveal of the Ascent.
Mhm.
I'm a massive fan of the World's End Zone, and especially with my attention. Well, I really liked the gate first of all when that was first released quite a while ago now in one of the dev streams, and then the actual reveal of the Ascent as well. The verticality that Pantheon and VR are putting into the game is just sublime. That's all I can really say.
Did you notice in the concept art when Minus said there may be more than one way to get into the Daydream Ascent? I heard it because I noticed on the concept art there was wind gusts, like an updraft that was noted. So and somebody in chat also pointed out that there was a cave notation, like secret cave notation on the side. So there's so many different traversal options, I think, and like different ways to accomplish the goal of getting to the place you wanna go, right?
Yeah, it feels it has that sort of similar goal, similar feel to how they were describing the gate as well, where you get up to that initial place, and then there's the verticality with different ways of getting into the actual gate itself. Although there is only one entrance technically so far, but they did allude that there probably be others. But it is just the whole idea of multiple ways into one zone or one area, point of interest, is much more interesting than what we see out in the market at the moment. That's one of the main reasons why I'm pledged for Pantheon. Just that fresh ideas.
I gotta say that like what you're talking about there is one of the big things that's got me most excited because like it's been a long time since the game is difficult enough and also interesting enough for me to just be sitting there thinking, I just want to see what it looks like up there, or I just want to see what it looks like deeper in the depths of this place, or you know what I mean? Like I feel that with Pantheon, like I just want to experience it and see it. You know, it's not just about the loot drop that might be there, or just getting experience. It's like I actually just want to see it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Totally, 100%, and that's the main reason why I'm there. Exploration is part of the point of adventure. Like getting to that point, or the traversal of getting to the top of the ascent, is going to be a challenge in and of itself, presumably. But just that whole mentality that they're going for is 100% what I'm for. Just going to see places that your first time you'll get there, you'll remember it just from that.
Well, and I mean, maybe it keeps you there longer too, right? Like we talk about, content and going through content, and if a place is hard to get to, assuming it's also hard to leave or get back to, then you stay there and you sort of make the most of that effort to get there, right? So if you want to keep people from like, going around and just plowing through content and just seeing everything in the first, however many months or whatever, make places like this difficult to get to, and you're just going to want to stick around for a while, right?
Oh, right. Yeah, if it's going to take you a few hours to get to that place, you're definitely going to be camping there for a few days. Like, if it's worth the effort to get there, you're not going to be simply just running in, taking a few screenshots and running out and spending an hour or two to get home. Like,
and the thing that really strikes me too is just not only the level of detail of the places that they've shown us, but also just the vastly varying types of like landscapes and different dungeons that they've shown us, right? So we've got the tower, that's a different thing, right? It goes around up in a circle. We've got the halfling zone with the dragons apparently in there. like all kinds of, and like all kinds of, and we've got the spider cave, and we've got like
Black Rose Keep,
all that. Like it's all very different. Like it's not like It doesn't. Nothing feels like we're pasting the same mobs. They don't look similar. Everything's way different. And so every time you enter, or every time we see a different zone, it feels so different than what we saw the last time. Right? Like the what was the level 40 dungeon or what's with the wraiths or whatever. It feels and looks very different than this, right? And so every time we see something new, it feels so different. And that for me, that's just like the sense of exploring and the sense of like visiting a new zone, and it looks and feels totally different. That's what really makes it exciting for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Right on. So Reese, anything else?
No. Thank you for taking me on so late. I mean, it's currently 3:30 in the morning now, so I probably should be getting to bed.
Yeah, I know. I'm being mindful of that. I'm like, don't keep this guy here forever. He's probably like,
No,
Dude, I
no,
probably
it's
couldn't
fine.
string together 3 words at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'd be like, bam, 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 bam.
That's all, folks.
That's all. Well, we'll let you go. We'll let you get some rest. Thanks for joining us tonight, man. And don't be a stranger. Come back again soon, eh?
No, I will. If I'm up this late again, I'll definitely be here. Thanks, guys.
Nice.
Take
We'll
care.
talk to you
Later,
later.
Good
man.
night.
All right. Moving right along. How about somebody new we haven't talked to before? How about Melted Wing? I don't think we've ever had Melted Wing on the show, and I don't know them from the community.
New blood.
New blood. Yeah, prepare to slander them endlessly. So Melted Wing, I'm bringing you on now. Hey, Melted Wing, welcome to Pantheon Plus You. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing really good.
Good.
Uh,
Thanks for
just
coming on tonight.
So,
Yeah. So what inspired you to join us tonight? You must have seen something in the stream that you're like, oh, I gotta tell them about this, or I gotta say my piece about this.
I keep seeing this advertisement in one of the Pantheon channels I'm in on Facebook, and I don't know what it was. Just tonight, I decided to hop on, and after the stream, I was looking forward to it. So,
Nice.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Hey,
That is fantastic.
that's Draq doing a great job of putting the word out about Pantheon Plus You. So kudos to you, Draq.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm on top of that social media.
You are master of social media. So Melted Wing, watching the stream, thoughts or feelings, anything about it?
I've been watching these streams for a few years now, and something that strikes me is I'm in IT, so I'm pretty familiar with application development, and it's really, really hard to make application development interesting to anyone who's not a programmer. And I just find the way these guys present the information, especially watching Minus has progressed significantly over the past several months. His ability to present the information in an entertaining way is just, I think it's not only interesting, but it's critical for these guys, because they're using this not only to inform the base, but also to get more interest from other people who aren't familiar with it yet.
That's a good
And
point.
a lot of other companies out there, they pretty much only put out information like once a year at E3, and it's always really, really jaw-dropping, fascinating stuff. But then after it's over, you're like, wait, it's not going to be out for another few years or whatever. And that's so disappointing. And the thing I really love about this is you're getting just enough to help you stay interested for another month and look forward to the next stream, but you're not getting so much at a single time that you become incredibly disappointed that it's not coming out right now.
I mean, that's exactly right. We've talked about this a little bit in the past, but it's just like they understand that this is part of the process for us too. Like they understand that we are as interested in joining them on the journey of development as they are in developing the game itself, right? And like you said, sometimes that can be difficult to explain. You said Minus is makes it entertaining. When they have Kyle on and he talks really technical stuff that neither Nathan or Draq or I understand at all.
Right.
They still managed to somehow translate it in a way that, okay, well, we've played MMOs, we understand how networks work because we've seen how they end up playing out in our MMOs that we play. So there's just a translation there, and I think they do a really good job of like you said, making it accessible, making it
Yeah.
followable.
Well,
And like you were saying too, like sometimes the updates, depending on how it's introduced to us, is kind of boring, right? But we get excited. They have a way of making us be excited because they explain it in such a way that we understand what that means for the game, right? And that's a really good point. They've been doing that this whole time, even during months where it's like they're doing kind of the boring stuff. Like we'll still get a monthly update and it'll still be substantial and we'll still walk away being impressed with the progress. So but that's good.
well, and it's taken them a while to get here, right? It's because remember, if you scroll back a couple of years, and like they were on it wasn't a set time between dev streams, right? They just did it whenever they felt like it. And then didn't they have a period of time where it was every 2 weeks?
Yeah, you totally took the thoughts out of my brain there, Draq. I was just going to say the same thing because I remember when it was so informal and so irregular that we didn't know what was coming. And yeah, I think they did try to do it like every week or every bi-weekly or something like crazy like that.
Right.
And even us in the community are like, are you getting any real work done, or are you just doing production stuff all the time? We're like, what's going on there? I don't see how you're doing any work on the game because you're always talking to us. So get out of here. We don't need to hear from you that often,
Right.
But and again, I'm biased here, but minus just the way he's structured it now, so that we have the monthly calendar. We know something's coming every week. We can sort of plan our content around that. The community can keep in tune. Like you're saying, Melted Wing, it just makes maintaining that connection so much easier, right?
I love me
Absolutely.
some calendar.
For sure.
Yeah. Right on. So great point, man. I really appreciate you bringing that up, and I think that's well
Yeah, that's a
said.
great point.
Anything else from the stream that you wanted to share or you wanted to talk about?
I did notice one thing that I kind of thought might be a good, helpful criticism, and that's that at one point they were talking about that new zone, and Ronak said something about this early in the process, and I realized afterward he meant this early in the process of developing this zone, but he didn't say this zone, and my immediate reaction was this early in the process.
That's
So
I know.
I know these guys are really careful about their wording. In fact, like what was it last month in the stream, Ronak said something about these graphics are not final, and Joppa was like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
So it's I take one of the things I take about these streams is that they're a drip feed, not just for the people who are super interested, but also for the purpose of developing community. And given that this is a community focused game, the whole art of developing the community as they progress through the development of the game is just kind of poetic. And so I think that's an important thing as well.
Yeah, it just makes sense, right? It just sort of fits. It just sort of goes hand in hand. And yeah, I know. I mean, we're always like, there's certain things you hear when, and you're always like, kind of like, don't say that, but that's the I guess the curse of doing a live stream sort of thing. You never know.
Absolutely.
Though sometimes the words just come out of your mouth. You don't even the filter goes away for half a second. You're like, whoops. So
Yeah.
very true.
Therek knows that, once I start talking on a live stream, like who knows what's going to come out.
Well, but that's what makes it fun too, Draq. That's when we have the best times.
I don't ever say anything inappropriate.
Nathan is
no.
100% contained in a box.
Yeah, I got the best filter ever.
Very
sure.
straight laced, very
Yes,
buttoned down kind of guy.
Of course.
Right on, Melted Wings. So, anything else before we say goodnight?
I think one last thing that I was thinking about during the stream is that they're really well poised to launch this game within the next couple of years, as I don't see anything else out there that will really give them a run for their money. And I personally, I haven't really played MMOs since I stopped heavy raiding in EQ2, and that was like 6 to 8 years ago. And I just think that their timeline looks good to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I don't want
agree.
to get too much into other MMOs, but Riot Games just one of their developers over there just released a thing and said that the Riot MMO may not even come out. Like it may just be dead. It may just be dead. So like,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean,
Wow.
MMOs are the genre is in need of dire help, right?
I don't know.
We need a win.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Nathan, what do you think? Richard Garriott, new MMO. You think that has? Should we be looking forward to that, or what, Nathan?
See that you're trying to prove my earlier statement wrong. So I'll say this out of respect for Brad McQuaid and Richard Garriott had a good relationship. So out of respect of that, I will only say that I would just keep looking for Pantheon. And
Yeah, let's say Pantheon patient.
stay focused on Pantheon.
Stay
That's all I'm gonna
focused.
say.
Well said. Well said. All right, Melted Wing. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for coming on for the first time. Really appreciate it, man. Don't be a stranger.
Very cool, man.
Thanks, guys. Have a good
Yeah,
one.
you too. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. Getting through the green room. How about Mubert? What do you guys think?
Mubert.
Mubert. Okay, Mubert. If you want to unmute yourself, I'll.
I was
I'll
thinking
grab
that our Atari game with the little guy that jumps on the pyramid squares.
That's Cubert.
Hubert. Dude, that game rocked my world. I was like 4 or 5 or something, and I hadn't played very many video games. It was only like the Atari. And that game, I was like, these graphics are crazy.
Yeah. Oh, good old days of Cubert, man. That was arcade style stuff.
Dude,
Yeah.
I was shoving quarters in as fast as I could because I was dying all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So Mubert, we know you are in Mubert and not Cubert. So how are you?
Thanks. I'm doing all right. Thanks for having me on the show, guys.
Yeah, right on. Good to talk to you, man. So what'd you think of the stream? Did it resonate with you?
Oh yeah, of course. This stream was just just chef's kiss, right? It was a great stream all around. Got to hear all about the development from multiple angles and multiple departments. Got to see some fantastic artwork. Got to see some fantastic zoning. Got to see little tidbits of lore just all around. It's a really nice club sandwich of a stream,
Yeah, absolutely. I like the whenever we get the concept art, those little notations on the concept art. I'm like, there's so much like dig into there. There's so much to go back and look at and just read those little notes because sometimes like they're very revealing in some things. So
Oh yeah, I love the detail. I saw the halberd designs with the ingrains on the wood, the metal detailing. My fingers twitched when I saw the halberds. I felt like I needed to hold one.
absolutely, yeah, for sure, man.
And I like it that Dez and Therek go back and research all that stuff so I don't have to.
Yeah. Well, that's what we do. We have to talk about something. So when it comes to content, we need to look closely.
Gotta dig
where we
deeper.
go. Dig deep. Yep. Yeah. No, lots of good stuff there, Mubert. So anything else that stood out? One thing in particular, or just all around good?
It's really hard to pick one thing in particular because I love everything that I saw. Just from a gaming standpoint, I love the detail on the weaponry, and I'm not sure if my eyes betray me or not, but I'm pretty sure that the rock and stone texturing and detail has been updated. Since the HDRP swung out from the old streams where it used to be featureless gray like surfaces, but now in some of those shots, like it's showing on the stream right now, you can actually see the pock marks in the stone, and it looks
That's a good point.
Mm.
That's a really good point. Yep.
But as much as I love that, I think probably the best part I would have to say from just a Pantheon fan standpoint is it's fantastic to hear that HR is having to pick through through applicants for these positions we've been talking about. And like was mentioned previously, that rigor is an application that apparently has had its position has positions waiting to be filled for it is just fantastic. I am ready to see some Scar and some Dark Mirror modeling. I am ready.
Yes. Yes.
Me too.
It has been too long. I want to see some in-game footage of all the races.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
and I cannot wait until the swimming animations are done and implemented so we can see a Darkmere swimming. I am all about it.
Well, you mentioned swimming, and when we were watching this stream, Nathan Draq and I, we were sort of Minus was talking about sort of teasing next month's newsletter. He talked about some combat stuff and some sort of hinting at things, and we kind of thought maybe they were talking, and this is just us thinking out loud, but like maybe it's like a underwater combat thing, or maybe there's some some new combat development or design update that they've done that he was sort of teasing, but that was just like I said, thinking out loud. Maybe not, but
We don't have any inside information. We don't work for VR.
No. The reason I think that it could be that is because if you look at their short list of what we're working on, swimming is on there, right? Like making it to where you can swim, and it that's the only thing I can think of combat related that would be a reveal.
Right.
But you never know with VR. They do stuff off the wall, and you're like, "Whoa, I never even thought of that."
And
Right?
perhaps not combat, but one thing I would like to mention is it's possibly a bean slip, perhaps a bean dropped out of the can that they weren't intending to let go so soon. But and just curse my horrible memory with names because I cannot remember her name. But during the Q&A session when Minus was talking, and they were talking about running through the areas, testing this, testing that, they mentioned also through the water, and not that swimming was not yet possible.
Okay. Yeah.
And stuff.
Right. Kim was saying something along those lines. I have to go back and listen to that again because I was too focused on that nightmare creature eyeballless creature she was describing. It's like I think I lost track of what the other thing she might have been saying was, but yeah, that's a good catch. That's a good catch. You're right.
Oaken Air, probably saying that wrong. Probably pulled a minus. Great art, by the way. But just said in chat, off the wall, like wall-based combat. Actually, that kind of makes sense too.
Well,
that actually does make a lot of sense.
Well, if I recall, don't rogues have the ability to deal more damage from height, like with X-Tips?
Yeah, I remember there was one of those skills. I don't know if it's currently on the website, but it was at least on the previous one.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting. We'll have to go back and check that out again.
I really hope we don't run into rogues at it. Like I say this jokingly, but I really hope we don't run into rogues out in the world who are just camping mobs by climbing up onto really high mountains and waiting to plunge down on them. Like,
if it can be done, it will be done.
Especially if they get a wizard friend that can cast Featherfall.
But if we're putting climbing in and we're calling it transversal, right? Like how you get around in the world, then I would think that like climbing and swimming would be very closely related. And they've put such an emphasis on climbing, so I think that like they have to at least have some emphasis on swimming. Like you can't just be like this blah thing, right? Because it's transversing the world, right? Like how are they going to deal with verticality in water if the swimming sucks? So it's got to be at least somewhat dialed in, right? It can't be New World swimming. Like that's not going to cut it.
No. And the other thing is like it wasn't too long ago that Joppa was specifically talking about how underwater should feel mysterious and like a super unexplored, because it's not like World of Warcraft. You're not just going to be able to swim down and hold your breath for 10 hours. You know what I mean? You need abilities, you need potions or equipment even that helps with that. So yeah, the swimming's got to have just as much thought process as climbing does go into it.
It's got to have some teeth.
Yep.
I agree. So maybe that's what we're getting to.
Maybe.
Nobody likes underwater combat, though, right?
No.
Anybody a fan? Like, I love it. I love when I'm underwater and fighting.
I'm reserving judgment, Nathan. I am not willing to write it off yet. I know you EverQuest old timers. I know it's like trauma, but I'm not gonna write it off yet.
I'm a really big fan of underwater combat in like tabletop situations, but there's not really been like an MMO where that's like really nailed it. Like the complexities of like I've played Guild Wars where they have their underwater combat system. It's okay, it functions. But I don't know. I think I would really have to see someone take a really good go at it, like just try to nail down all the issues with it, try give it their best shot, and see like reassess my opinion after that.
Yeah, well, we didn't have a good Guild Wars 2 underwater experience. I can tell you that much. We were we were we were laughing when we were doing that, and I that was a while ago.
You
but
could just go ahead and remove the word underwater in that sentence for me. I just didn't have a good Guild Wars 2 experience. Period.
It was all of it. That's funny. Anyway, yeah. So right on, man. Well, good to talk to you. Anything else before we sign off?
Yeah, I know that we've been poking fun at Minus a little bit, but I think I'll probably just close off with one last little jab in the kidneys, and talk about that shadow hire he's been sneaking in every now and then. It's like this guy named Craig who's apparently working on the new zone animes. Talk about Craig all the time.
Another mispronunciation. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that in chat too.
All I gotta say is Craig's doing good work.
Craig, he's
job, Craig.
tireless. Yeah,
Unsung
tireless
hero.
worker.
Craig, may you live on in infamy.
That's right. That's a great way to end it.
I can actually explain that. I know the backstory. It actually turns out that like that guy, Visionary Realms doesn't even know that he works for him. Minus is paying him under the table, so that's why there's a little bit of a mix up there. Sorry, Craig, for giving you away.
Maybe it's Minus's imaginary friend or something. Who knows? All right, Mover. We'll let you go. Thanks for jumping in. We'll talk to you again.
And thank y'all. Have a good night.
See ya.
Night, man.
All right, three green room attendees left. How about we go with Essen?
We got a nice crop of people tonight. That's super fun.
Well, I mean, we got a big crop of people. I don't know if they're all nice.
Oh, wow,
but
yeah.
we definitely have a big crop of people.
I don't know.
But
I can't see who's left, so I don't know. I don't know about the niceness.
Well, I know Essen and Man of Rohan are nice, and then there's Dez. So we'll see how Dez if he's
depends
nice
it depends on the night for Dez. He's usually nice.
I've already taken like half of Dez's points, so he's probably pretty angry at me.
Oh no.
And he's probably angry at me because I'm making the caboose again tonight. So whatever. So Essen, we'll bring him in. Hey Essen, how's it going, man?
Yo.
What's happening?
Well, I really want to talk about, the 800-pound gorilla in the room. And I don't know if you guys haven't mentioned it yet, but this stream, why haven't we talked about Will Smith and the slap? I mean, that's what I'm here for, right?
Well, we're saving the best for last. It's like the Sohirith of Pantheon plus you. We're going to end the stream with that.
This is very important, actually. I'm glad you brought this up because I'm personally hoping that when they hired this new animation rig guy, that's what they modeled the slap. That was a really clean slap, guys. If you're going to animate a slap, that was a clean one. That looked pretty good.
You've heard it here first. You've heard it here first on Pantheon Plus. VR will be putting a Will Smith slap emoji into Pantheon Rise of the Fallen.
Emoji, I like that. Is it emoji, or is it like a monk attack, or just like is it like a rogue silence? Like get those words out of your.
Yeah, it's too good to just be a emote. Yeah, it's got to be like an ability. Yeah.
Get your magic spell out of your mouth. That's what it says.
Oh boy, well we are really been going at this too long when we're getting to this point. That is some next level stuff.
No,
so other than that, Essen,
there's nothing other than that. No.
Oh, that was the only thing I see.
No. Just really quick. Originally, I think I said like November this year, alpha. Seeing like just how much there is to do, I can't imagine it's going to be this year anymore. Like I was pumped for this year. Like this is it. This is inevitable. Like soon, imminently, whatever the mug said.
Imminence.
Imminence, right? But like, man, there is so much work to do. These zones are huge. We've never seen Silent Plains. We've never seen. I don't know, I don't have the map in front of me, but there's a bunch of those we haven't seen anything on. And Wild's End on its own is so massive. Like there's one shot where you can see like the in-game shot of this, what's on the screen right now. And if you look past it, you can see all the way to the end of the zone. And it is far. And they've got to do content for the entire thing for every zone. Like, there's no way they're going to be able to do that this year. They're just like, you couldn't hire a team of 50 people to get it done in like the next 6 months. It's just too much.
Unless, like what chat's saying, and there is a lot done that they won't show us, right? Because they have said that a lot. They're like, we're not going to show you everything. We have
They have said
selected
that quite a
things
bit.
we will show you, and there's things we just won't show you ever. You're just going to have to see in the game. So maybe they've selected these places, and there could be, and maybe there's not, there could be progress that they're just like, nope, that's not on the list. We don't show it, you know?
Maybe.
Could be.
I mean, they do such a good job of showing like everything they've done, basically, right? Like, even like
Well-
stuff that's half done. Like tonight, that dungeon, just the entrance, that's like half done. There's like grass inside. Like they're just getting started on that.
But that
And there's
could be on the list to be shown. Because you know how they are. They set
Yeah.
things up in advance and they follow that, you know, that progression path. And also, I'd like to note that Ronick said, or are we?
Listen, Essen. The position of hype killer has already been filled.
Well,
Desrin
so there's-
is the official Pantheon plus hype killer. You cannot be it. Sorry.
all right, let me flip that coin over to the good side of that coin of why I don't think it's going to be this year. The good side is what we've already talked about. They're hiring the positions that you hire when things speed up, right? So, yeah, I think it's going to take a while, but I think we're going to get tons of progress really fast, and we're going to really start seeing these things come together. Like when you build back in college, they're building a new gym at the college, and it was like, going to be massive, and it was right outside my window for like a year. It sucked at 6 a.m. as a college student to hear the jackhammering, but the foundation took forever, and then when they finished the foundation, the building was built in like 2 months. Like what the hell happened? The foundation takes the longest time, and that's what we're in right now. And we're at the very tail end of it. So once we're done with that, and they start, adding in like, the character models and all the art and stuff like that, that's gonna fly. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's true. And Minus dropped a bean in chat there. He said when we use the free cam and our character isn't nearby, it doesn't show NPCs because our character isn't there. So we can show areas without NPCs as not to spoil, right? So even what we're seeing isn't completely factual because they're removing things purposefully for no spoilers.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
I saw the bank vendor. It's right there on that pedestal in California.
Right at the edge. That's what everyone.
That's where
I do it.
That's the POD lift right there. See.
That's what I want. I've always driven my wife absolutely nuts. Whenever I put like a glass down, like for whatever reason, I always put it on the edge, like a little bit of the glass hanging over the edge. I don't do it on purpose, but just like a little bit because I like to live dangerously, apparently. And that's how I want like every vendor in let's call it New Calithan. I want them like right on the edge, like a little mistake.
I'm never
dead.
going there. Never.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, no, man. Hey, you got to keep it real, and you got to be honest with your what you think, what your expectations are, and maybe we will, maybe we won't. I guess we'll find out. Time will tell. But I'm still optimistic. I'm still hopeful, and but I could very well be wrong too. So don't know.
Yeah, I mean, either way, more excited than ever. It keeps getting better. That's all I want to say.
Yeah, right on. So anything else? Anything else on your mind?
Oh, way too much, but we can't talk about it here.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. Yeah, fair enough. All right, well, thanks, Essen, for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, catch you later.
Have a good one, man.
All right, Man of Rohan. How about we bring in the creator of the very successful Dev in Real Life series on YouTube. If you haven't seen Man of Rohan's videos. The Grey Box Lament being the most recent one. They're awesome.
Now, is Man of Rohan excited about progress, or is he kind of rooting against like development so he can stay in Grey Box, so he can have more content? Like, I'm not sure how that works.
Let's find out. I'm gonna bring him in. We'll ask him. We'll see what he says.
The mystery will be revealed.
The mystery will be revealed. Hey, Man of Rohan, did you hear what Draq said?
Yeah, I was trying to make sure that I was clicking the right buttons, but yeah, I think I will be sad that I can't sing any more laments or any more sad songs once it's done. But no, it's I don't know why I gravitate to the underdog, but maybe a lot of people do. Just want to anyway. But
yeah, no, that's we'll take any production that you feel like doing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a lament. We'll take anything you can do because it's awesome. So
well, I already have something planned for Christmas, but it's not Pantheon specific. But I'll let you guys know. So
nice,
Dude,
nice.
it'll just be fun.
That's some serious planning right there. That's my kind of planning. He's planning for Christmas like right now. Let's go.
Yeah, it's again an underdog story, but we'll see. We'll see. You guys can make your own decisions about it.
Nice. What'd you think of the stream tonight?
I liked it. I liked it, and it wasn't, to me, it wasn't as exciting for me as, say, the Giant stream. I'm not exactly sure why exactly, but I maybe I'm taking a page out of Desrin's book, or now Essen's book, and just being a little more even-minded about it. But still very excited. But I mean, there's some, not negatives, but there are some things that I hoped for, or that I continue to hope for. And then some really good things, like, I honestly did hope for some rainfall action. I realize there's movement, but I keep thinking we've never seen and never moved on. I shouldn't say moved on. We've never seen some of that stuff. And I'm very excited to make that happen, So I understand, I am an engineering product manager for an application development team. So we do software all the time. And I understand the kind of time it takes to really design and really get moving on things. But, and I wished for the networking work to have a little bit more of a, hey, we're almost done. This is just my wishes. I realize this is a little bit
Yeah, no, it's all fair,
other
man.
classes. Yeah.
No,
And
those
then,
are all legit.
yeah, and then I also wished for more foliage. I miss for more foliage on the ground. Honest, I know it's dumb and shallow, but I wished to see more of that.
I agree.
Because, yeah, I mean, I know Desrin said a stream or two ago was talking about, hey, I wish, it looked kind of flat. It looked kind of not as good as he wanted it to, and I agreed with that I've gone back, and that my version of Pantheon Patient is go back and watch all of the everything until we get to this point. So I've been watching all of Pantheon plus 2 actually, and see the reactions for the last month. I've been doing that, and I went all the way back to the beginning and looking at some of the really great looking things to me. And saying, hey, man, that looks so good on the ground, with Bruno and with all of those lighting changes and the foliage there. I really just wanted to see some of that. So I didn't, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. I realize there's always a point, and I think at some point that's just going to be a switch flips, and all of that will just be able to be there. Especially seeing what they've done with HDRP and with this, the speed that Ronan keeps talking about, the speed at which they can do that.
Yeah.
So that's my level-minded there. But I did want to talk about a couple things that I'm very excited about too, on the good side, if that's okay, for just a second.
Yeah, of course.
So first, Minus, great job on reading the lore. I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
So I was impressed. I love lore, but I thought he did a great job. And then I am really excited to see the materials being applied to real items. All the weapons. I recognize some of those materials being applied to those shields and those glaives. Glaive number 3. That's my glaive. If I don't know what class I need to be, but have glaive number 3. But that's the one I want to have.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
yeah, it was so good. And but coming back to watching the old streams, I want to echo what other people have said on the stream, is that the vision has not changed. I've watched all of these very recently, so it's all in my mind. But the only thing that's really changed is multicolored mana. And that was way back in the beginning.
That's a good point.
That's ancient.
But Brad was still here when that started to peter away, so it's hard to say that that was pre that was while Brad was still with us. So
Was that
Right, and
was that a mainstay? I don't remember that ever being a mainstay. I thought that was kind of
At the very beginning,
with
no, at the very
Progeny.
beginning, that was like a big advertisement.
Oh, was
Actually,
it?
so yeah, he is right. Yeah,
Right, and I know that I think Bounty Code said something one time that he really missed that, and I think it could have been a good idea. But I am the way the design has gone, I think that they have organically moved to where it makes sense in regards to fulfilling this design. There's a difference between having a design on paper and thinking about it, and then once you start making it, what it actually looks like in code and in gameplay and in how it actually works. Ask anyone who actually makes a sword or is a blacksmith. Drawing it on the paper and transferring that to a 3D thing is a lot different, and there are challenges that you have to figure out how to work out. And I think so far VR team has done such a good job at figuring out how to merge those two from the design into a real thing. You know,
Yeah, I
so
want to. On that note, what you said about the materials library that they showed with the video of all the different materials. That's an
mhm.
excellent point. We've seen the full circle. We've seen it go from concept art, in the drawing of the material, which we actually saw on the stream tonight because they showed like the gray with the silver highlight kind of thing, and then you look at that video with the material as a application to just a random asset, a ball or whatever it was,
Mhm.
and now that's been applied to the interior of the temple in the Daydream Ascent there. Like
Mhm.
that's crazy. Like that for me, that's really interesting. It's probably, probably pretty simple kind of thing, but to see that full process play out is pretty cool.
You know
Yeah, and
what?
I
Oh,
go ahead.
ahead. Oh, I was just going to say one thing that nobody's talked about yet, that crafting is going in the game right now.
Oh yeah,
Like,
we haven't talked about
Man.
that. Right?
usually crafting is something that enters like alpha, closer to beta. It's like that thing that's thrown in, lumped in at the end, and then it releases in the game, and it kind of sucks, right? That's usually how crafting gets the shaft, right? But dude, they are putting crafting like front and center. Now, I'm not a crafter, so it's like whatever for me. But like, dude, if you're a crafter, this game should be your jam because I think it's going to be heavily a huge part of the game.
Yeah, I remember looking back at one of the first Nifel streams when he was talking about his design and his plan, and he was saying things that aren't quite done. And he's saying, I can make a sword and I can use any material I want. And it's really up to me as the crafter to decide what kind of things go into that. I'm not just following, even though I loved the EQ2 crafting for its own reasons, but you could only make the one thing, and you could only make the one thing during that tier. I had to use this tier stuff. But perhaps I can make this material thing and I can use my own skill in order to make something really cool that is still iron. Maybe it's I don't have to use cobalt. I don't have to use this other one because the way that I can do it, so it just gives a lot of more, and especially the look, the materials are great. Um so
Right
I know
on.
I'm talking a lot,
No,
No, it's fine.
it's true too. It's very true, and having the options, not just visually, but actually affecting how it comes out, and if they allow these many options, then what's going to end up happening is people are going to like have their own little signatures, right?
mhm.
And that's really cool. You know what I mean? And that kind of extends to like think about if like there was somebody who played the game, you bought swords or armor, whatever from them, and I really hope, by the way, they do a little thing where it says like crafted by the person.
yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
and then something happens, and that person, a lot of people buy from in the early parts of the game, and they end up leaving the game. And then you can be like, "Nah, do you remember this guy? Like, he made the sword that I still have." Like that's cool. That's just good stuff.
Yeah, I still have in EQ2. This is funny. I still have things. So we had a guild member, and she was she made, I forget which exact trade skill it was, but it was furniture and things like that. And I had things from her that she has since actually passed away. She had cancer. She passed away. So very sad, but a reminder of this was a friend of mine in the game, and we were able to connect. And I still have this thing that she spent time on. I know it's an electronic thing, but it's something that she spent time on.
And you
And-
still have it.
And
Yeah.
how
And I still have
valuable is that?
Right. So I I go back to all the things about it being a community. We don't even have a game yet. I know several of you have played a version of this game. I have not, but I've watched and I've enjoyed that time. And so for me, I feel closer to everyone that I've seen and everyone that I'm looking at, and reading their comments, and all of that community connectedness is kind of crazy. If you think about it, it's very human, and it's also kind of crazy that we have such a connection at this point in the development of a game, because we're not playing it yet. We're not enjoying what we think we're going to enjoy, but we are enjoying the things that make the game us anyway.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
No, and I think that's exactly right. I think I expressed a similar sentiment when we were talking to Redbeard Flynn about that, and I was like, yes, this is what we're all here for, So yeah, I agree, man. Those are really there's so many great points in there. I don't want to break them all down, and I think we'll be here until midnight because there's so much I could talk about there. No, I'm glad you. That's why we have the show. That's why we have people on to say what you think.
By the way, we can't walk away with him leaving until I state this. Only Draq could take a sentimental story like that and then be like, "And how much is it worth now?"
No. I didn't mean to go.
Only Draq.
Oh my god.
No, he meant sentimental value.
Sentimental. I'm not that heartless. Come on.
Holy moly.
No,
Draq.
if it was an egg, it might have been a different story. But
So
go ahead, Draq. If you don't see me again one day, please don't sell my stuff. If I make you something in game,
2 weeks, man. 2 weeks.
Remember,
if you didn't if I'm looking at that guild tab, looking at last log on 2 weeks there.
Yeah.
Boom, gone. It's all for sale.
Ebenezer Scrooge selling your stuff already. You just died.
The fire sale begins. Wow.
Oh man. So I have just two tiny things to say. One, I love that they featured QA. As a former QA, I think it's ridiculously important that QA is good. And second, and the last part is, as a developer, I may not be a coder. I don't program, but as a developer, this is really moving in a really positive direction. We're at a place where you can really feel the ground under your feet as we're moving forward. So if anyone is feeling like it's not moving as fast as they want, okay, I get that. I really get that. But at the same time, this is actually moving. There's actually people working on it. There's actually investment and time and energy spent in it. It's not vaporware, is what I mean to say. So
exactly.
That's the last thing. Thanks for your time, everybody. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
thanks for coming, man.
Talk to you later, dude. All right, we are down to our final guest, Desrin.
All right.
Your favorite and mine. So let's bring Des in. What's up, Des?
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
He's
so tired.
He's got the evil grin going on. He's all just like, you're not even ready for what he's about to bring.
I feel like that's twirling your mustache sort of voice.
You're actually like super right on all counts.
Are you mad because I made you the caboose again?
I'm gonna have to get one of those those flutes, the wooden flutes.
Yeah.
So every time I get on air, I'll do like the toot toot.
Nice,
but no, I'm not mad.
Okay.
I'm actually really happy about our green room tonight. It was incredible.
Yeah.
Dude, tons of people.
And that's probably like the first thing. Our like community for this stream, I mean, I was about to fall out of my chair when we started. Like, y'all are absolutely crazy. I don't know how many of you guys are still here, but just so freaking generous. Thank you all like so much. I probably am gonna miss some people, but just specifically for all of the gift subs and everything, I want to shout it out to Crypt Fox, Redbeard Flynn, Ziploc Sparrow, Essen, Man of Rohan, Reese. I know he's not here, but maybe if he watches again, and of course, Tetsu and Mujin, like, just blowing me away.
That's awesome. Yeah, totally. Thank you for mentioning those. those folks and just everybody who's, what a great stream we've had tonight. We had like nearly 70 people watching, green room with like 7 or 8 people in there, and it's just like, man, oh man, it's what a community this is.
Yeah, it always shows when we have like a interesting stream, because the plus U is always like there's a different atmosphere, different vibe. Oh, hey Mujin, thanks again, bud.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
that's
Beard
awesome.
Lord, the Beard Lord coming out, awesome.
But yeah, it's always like directly relevant to our stream, and this just goes to show, right? Like this is such a good pulse on how the initial stream was.
Yeah, totally, absolutely. What did you think of the stream? I'm sure you have a lot to say about it. I mean,
boy.
that
you
didn't
always have
sound
a lot to
passive
say.
aggressive at all.
The first
I
hour
love
and
you.
15 minutes was everybody else, and the next hour and 15 minutes was Desrin.
Save some for the rewind. Des.
No, I won't do that to you guys. I'll say in general, I freaking loved this stream. I feel like I said the last one was like the best yet, but I think this one, if you just kind of just spread it all out and say, okay, what's the best overall stream I think we've ever had? This one, I think, just hits the nail on the head, not for any big reveals or anything, because obviously we've had more exciting, like big reveal kind of things, but just the evenness, the flow of information and how it's all spread out, that was really, really good.
Yeah, the structure of how they presented what they had was really top notch.
Right.
Yeah.
And Minus asked the question, right? Yeah, how do you like the recordings? I really like the recordings, right? Because then you don't have to have like awkward transitioner stuff. It's just queued up, and so he just goes to it, right? It's all prepped. It's not something that has to like. There needs to be a live component. I'm not saying go all to recordings, but mixing in recordings, I think, is a great way to keep things moving, and keep things professional. So I really like it.
They still managed to do the awkward in between, though, right?
It was one of those moments where I think Minus looked over at Ronik, trying to do the thing they used to do, where they tried to pretend like they were looking at each other in the virtual space that they're in. I thought that was kind of funny, but yeah, no, the pre-recorded stuff really works.
Yeah, I think that was really incredible. Getting a bit from each department, I think was just really important at this stage in development. And I, we probably want to keep topical streams happening, right? They're really exciting. But this kind of overall development update, I felt was just really soothed the soul, right? Like it just felt reassuring, I guess it would be the word.
Yeah, it was like food for the soul, right?
Yeah.
And I want to say that I really hope, and I think this will happen, but I really hope that like post launch they continue a monthly little update, and live like this, and kind of keep this format going into the future. I think that'd be really, because I mean, imagine we'll just be joining a regular old monthly to find out what bugs they squashed, and they'll be announcing a freaking expansion, and we'll be freaking out, but that only is, you can only do that if we're used to it, right? We're just expecting not something crazy, and then they lay something crazy on us, right? So I'm hoping it continues onward.
How cool would it be to do a Pantheon plus you while we're actually playing Pantheon? Like, how cool would that be?
Someday. But I think I said it in chat, but I think the content pacing right now, having, the 2 big hitters each month, we got the newsletter and the dev live stream, and the kind of like, longer form, I wouldn't say a super minor, but it's still really good. But the developer roundtables kind of fill that extra slot, and I feel like just that combination is just such a perfect pacing. I don't feel like it's unsustainable. I feel like it's just a good, you give content creators a little bit to go, like the whole month. Yeah. Anyway, you guys touched on that.
Yeah.
I think for me, though, on the note of criticality, if I were to have anything, I'd say my feelings throughout the stream kind of went like this. The initial dev updates were kind of like really appreciated, but I immediately recognized that like, which is not very like exciting, right? We know networking is being worked on, and I'm really glad we got an update, and it sounded like a very positive, update, but it is still just like, we kind of know that. And I think that was really important to put in. So that's not really a criticality, but there was a certain feeling about the stream. It was just kind of like not particularly exciting at first. And I was admittedly a bit apprehensive when I was starting to see like reruns from the last stream, right? I don't know if you guys felt that way, but like seeing the same footage, I was like,
A little bit. Yeah, I had that thought a little bit, and I was like, there wasn't a lot new information, up to a certain point. But then again, you have to understand, like, they knew what was coming, right? Like, they knew that stuff at the end was waiting.
and that's kind of what I was going to get to. It's
Yeah.
like he kind of pulled a double apple, at the end where it was like, hey, how about we show, a little bit of, in-game stuff, which was so perfect because they just showed the concept art. And I'm really big on that comparison thing, like, hey, don't just show concept art now where, regardless of all, how much we know about development and how it's not really necessarily 8 years, but it's 8 years, and seeing concept art with no in-game footage, it feels bad to a lot of people. So I'm really glad they did that comparison. And then he did like the double apple at the end, where it's like, let's go inside. Let's go. I thought that was just a really great escalation. And then he's like, all right, we're gonna lay out the full surprise, because like that felt like the surprise, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, by the way, so heareth, and it was like, oh man, that was just the escalation of that was like palpable.
And I love the inside jokes too, because like they were kind of acting like, oh, should we do it? Like, and then and then when they did it, which it was planned, but when they did it, Ben Dean came in the chat like, hey, what are you guys doing? Like, dude, like, I just love it.
They play their parts well.
Yeah, they play their parts. Like, because, Ben Dean's not really the bean killer,
What?
Yeah.
Man, it's kind of a myth. It's actually Kilson, actually.
It was the OG bean killer. Yeah, I agree. Right on. Well, I mean, we could talk all night, Des, and sometimes we do, but we've been going for over an hour here. What do you want to? Anything want to wrap up with, or before we call it a night?
A little bit, yeah. I'll be quick though.
Okay.
We had a lot of hecklers in chat tonight, like more than usual, I feel.
Yeah, I agree.
Which on one hand means it's being exposed more. More people are popping in spite of their obviously negative biases towards the project. And while I probably don't want to be friends with any of them in real life, they're here nonetheless, and they're being given something. And whether they, react to that appropriately or not, or if they just keep like naysaying, more people coming in of all types is very good to see. And I'm glad it was the stream that people are coming in to see, and not, concept art, super great books.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
The timing works out well for that. Yeah, I agree.
Because then we have to spend the next month like explaining to people what the heck is going on. And all right, let me walk it through for you again. Like, here's step 1.
Yeah, and I just want to also say that, like, for the most part, the hecklers also, they're here, right? Like, they showed up. There's some interest, and there are always people in the world who just don't get it, and they'll say things that maybe don't make sense. Like when you're a kid and you're like, Mom, I want to eat right now. Well, it's not ready. I'm still cooking it, but I'm hungry now, right? And it's like, well, I can't give you raw meat, right? So you're gonna have to chill. So it's one of those things where some people just somehow believe that if they come in and they keep jabbing about, it's not out yet, game win, or whatever that one guy popped in, win game. Like, they just think that the developers are just going to be like, oh, you want out now? Oh, my bad. We didn't know. Like,
I had no idea people
here you
wanted
go.
this. So, yeah,
Right.
Please, this is news to us. Yeah.
Since you asked, here we go.
Oh, by the way, it's tomorrow.
Sorry, we didn't know that that's what you guys wanted.
Yeah.
Here it is.
but that was a big takeaway for me, and I think that does tend to flow into what is expected next, though. And with the comments in chat, a lot of people are asking for gameplay. I'm so happy to at least get fly-throughs of the, in progress, still very in progress stuff. But a few people asking for, combat, like show what you mean. And that's bound to need to happen soon. Although this was a nice reprieve and a great direction. So that's my spiel.
Absolutely. That's a great way to end it there, Des. So right on, man. Glad to hear it. And thanks for moderating tonight, and thanks for keeping track of the folks in the community for us there. That was a really cool thing to do. Really appreciate that. And
I've only lost some of my mind. I'll have to find it later. But you guys are blowing my mind, is what I'm saying.
Well, we'll find it on Sunday for the rewind. Hey, check out the rewind on YouTube with me and Desrin on Sundays at noon.
Desrin finally finds his brain.
That's what we'll call the episode this week.
I just want to read real quick what Minus wrote here because it's so good. There's nothing wrong with doubt because when Pantheon releases, the doubt won't matter. And our hope is people will be looking to log on regardless of how they felt to see what it is all about.
100%. And that is what will happen. That's absolutely what will happen.
Exactly. Totally. Cool. All right, Des. We'll talk to you later, buddy.
Peace out, everyone.
All right, boys. That's a wrap. That's a show.
Rushed it. Dude, the community came through in spades today. So
totally.
Very exciting.
Great community out there. Great chat. Everybody, thank you for coming and joining us tonight and hanging out and having some laughs and all that stuff.
So I would be remiss. You guys have supported Pantheon Plus like tonight, like as Desrin said, it was amazing. Everyone needs to also support Mr. Nathan Napalm. Like yes. I don't know if you know this, but like, dude, he is in everything that we do, and he is our silent partner on the side. So if you are not following him on YouTube, go search him, go find him, the Nathan Napalm. He does the best content, and you absolutely need to be following him if you are at all interested in Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. And he is a class act.
Can I make my big announcement?
Yeah, dude, make it.
Here?
100%.
All right, guys, listen, as of June, I'm full-time YouTube, content creation, streaming videos, and you guys have never seen a full-time Napalm. You guys have been getting crumbs up to this point because I worked a very long hour job, and so you guys would get like 2 hours of my time per day, maybe. Sometimes it'd be like not even that. You guys are about to get 24 hours of Napalm. You have no idea the puppetry and ridiculousness you're about to ensue.
More puppets all the time.
Get your mind right. Get your physical health. Get your physical shape right because it's gonna be crazy.
Get your cringe ready. Let's go.
That's right.
Yeah, get your cringe ready.
That's the slogan. Nathan full-time. Get your cringe ready. Love it. That's awesome.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up. I have it in my mind that probably, within the next couple of days, there'll probably be some videos released by, Pantheon Plus and Nathan Napalm. So you're going to want to keep your eyes out for that. And then, of course, there's the rewind on Sunday where Therek and Des will go over everything that happened here. They'll have a couple of days to like mull it through and get their thoughts all ironed out. So make sure you check that out as well. Anything else anybody wants to say before we close this thing down?
No, that's it, man. I think you said it all.
All right. Everybody wave bye-bye to the people.
Good night,
Bye,
everyone.
the people.
See you
Thanks,
next time.
everybody.
Have a great night.